Hello everyone, this is Professor Stewart. I just want to create this very short last quick hit lecture of the semester just to give you some information regarding the upcoming end of the semester. I think this information you'll find valuable in terms of you as a student in my class, as well as some personal information to give from me to you as you navigate through your academic journey. Many of you are going to transfer to your four-year institutions or straight to your career. So it's just some personal information, knowledge from me to you as your professor, but also just as an adult, just as Sean, just a human being here. To start, I love memes. I use memes in my class. You see me use GIFs or GIFs in some of the emails that I sent. So these aren't meant to demean or degrade anyone in the class. They're just meant to be lighthearted. And some of them, I think, embody myself when I was an undergrad. Some of them you might think to yourself, oh, that was me. So like I said, just meant to be lighthearted here. That was me my junior year, for sure, at UT. And like I said, this is the end of the semester. Just have a little chuckle, have a little laugh. Especially, I know a few of you have finished the exam. So all you have left is the DB and then you're done. You're just waiting on your your grades from me. Speaking of grades, your final exam, all chapters in the book plus all quick hits are fair game. I would always advise you to go back and listen to the quick hits before you start the exam, because you are an online class. Your exam is in D2L. I offer students the opportunity to take your exam face to face in the testing center. I've offered this for a while and I've had 0 takers from my online class. You guys like taking your exams online, which is fine. If you didn't have to drive up to campus, I would not want to do that either. And you must complete your exam in one sitting. And if you've noticed, the exam is 1 hour and 50 minutes, which is the same time as face-to-face classes for Lone Star. And like I said, 3 of you have already taken that exam already. So no extra time will be given unless you have permission to do that beforehand. All grades in this class will be posted by Tuesday, March 12th. That's the Tuesday of spring break at 4 p.m. It's probably going to be earlier, so make sure your grade alerts are on in D2L so that you get an email or a text when I've uploaded every grade. When I send an email to the class marked final grades, that'll be the subject line. You open that email and that'll let you know some information, but on the whole, that just means all grades are in, they're complete, and the semester is done. Something you should always do, though, is double check your letter grade to your number grade in D2L. Sometimes you might get a surprise that's a good surprise. Sometimes you might get a surprise that's a bad surprise. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, I don't lower people's letter grades. What I mean by that is this. The system that we use to type in letter grades is pretty old. Sometimes you'll put a letter grade in for a student, and then just by clicking on the next student to put in their letter grade, it changes the student above you. So if I were you, I would go back and double check my if you can, because some of the D2L classes close after about 60 days, 30 or 60 days, they close. But you should always be checking the number grade that the professor provides for you in D2L, and then cross-posting that to the letter grade that's in iStar to make sure they are the same. But when we upload letter grades, it's up to the system office to release this to your transcript. I've had students tell me it released to their transcript maybe an hour after I uploaded the letter grade. I've had students tell me it took 24 hours. I've had students tell me it took 2 days, 2 or 3 days. So I know some of you might need your transcripts in a hurry. Just know once I post the letter grade, it's out of my hands. So after today, I'll no longer take grades about email unless there's some sort of, or email about grades, unless there's some sort of discrepancy, meaning I allowed you to make up something and it's still a 0, or you turned something in and I forgot to grade it, or something along those lines. But stuff like, when will this be graded? Can you round up my grade? All of those are inappropriate emails to your professors as students, and they will be promptly deleted. These are my bosses. Dr. Lawrence Brandenburg is our dean. I should take that out. He's not acting dean anymore. He's actually the dean. Behavioral social scientist. Kathy Cecil Sanchez is our vice president. And Dr. Ardalan is the president of University Park. If you want to send them an email, let them know, hey, Professor Sean's really awesome. Y'all need to go give him a raise. That would be great. If you want to send them an email saying Professor Sean sucks and you need to fire him, they'll just promptly delete it, so it won't make a difference. And that was a joke, so feel free to laugh. When it comes to evaluations, one of your extra credits, extra credit number 2, is a evaluation, but I welcome all feedback. And you have the extra credit as well. And I say I welcome all feedback. I like to tell students I'm a big boy. I can handle it. I've had students give me constructive criticism of what could possibly be changed in the course to make it a little bit easier for the student. And I've taken some of that criticism. I've also had students give me constructive criticism, which I thought was just complaining and whining, and I have not taken that criticism. But if you have an idea, don't be afraid to email it over to me, and I'll let you know my thoughts. I realize all students nowadays, not all students, I realize most students nowadays are picking their professors from Rate My Professor, so if you want to go in and give me all 5s, that would be great. Just be like, he's a badass, take his class. And I need to update this. This is not my schedule for spring 2019. Well, this is my schedule for spring 2019. But if you're looking to take me for a summer class or the fall classes, just send me an email and let me know which class you're thinking about taking, especially if you're a speech major, and then I can guide you in that direction or direct you to which class you need to take next. I always like to do this fun with numbers in stats class. I took stats in my doctorate degree. I absolutely hated it, but my professor allowed me to do something with my personal classes that allowed me to understand stats a bit more. So from fall 2011 to fall 2016, I taught about, I'd say, 2,000 students, 2,500, something along those lines. In that percentage, 96.4%, those are the percentage of those 2,500 or 2,000 students who ended the semester with a C, D, or F who did not complete at least 2 assignments. That's not saying 96% of my students in that time frame only made a C, D, or F in my class. That's saying they made a C, D, or F because they did not complete at least 2 assignments. 98.1% of the 96.4%, the percentage of those who did not complete at least 1 major assignment. So 1 major assignment in this class would be the Looking Glass project, the exams, the poem project, the movie analysis paper. So the first question you should ask when you see your final grade is, did I complete every assignment? Which was my hypothesis. My hypothesis was, if you complete every assignment in my class, you're probably going to walk out of my class with an A or a B. And my professor, with the help of my numbers, helped me prove that to be true. So in open mic time, if you have an honest question, I do this in my face-to-face classes. You can ask anything you want related to the class. Be as open as honest as you want, and I will not hold that against you, I promise. If you want to send me an email asking why we had to do an assignment, why don't I do this? I've had students ask, why don't I give reviews? Why don't we do XYZ in class? Or why did we have to do this assignment? I didn't like it. I understand why we had to do it. And I'm pretty blunt and open and honest with you about those answers. So if you have a question, don't be afraid to send it to me. And once again, this is not counted against you. This is just transparency between myself and my students. So a couple of things I always like to go over is what students have put on my evaluations in the past. One student put, you grade too hard for a basic level community college class. And then another student said, I pay your salary, so you should do what I say. And the answer to that is mostly false. Number one, I don't think I grade too level for a basic level or a community college class. If I told you that everything that you submitted to my class was an automatic A, that would be a lie. Not only that, it would be a situation in which you would be wasting your money. Because when you transfer to your 4-year, everything you turn in is not going to be an A. So then if you look back at Lone Star and said, well, everything I turned in at Lone Star was an A, they didn't teach me very well. That's a possibility. It's also a possibility, or not necessarily a possibility, but you also have to realize in my grading style and my class style, I'm trying to prepare you for the next level. My job is to prepare you for your career or your 4-year university educational career. And in either instances, not everything you do is A, automatically right, and B, automatically an A. So I would be doing a disservice to you if everything you turn in I just automatically gave an A, when 100% it's not A quality work. Remember, this is not high school. High school, they have to pass you on. That's not how this works in the real world, which is one of the things that I hate about high school. When it comes to paying your salary, your tuition pays for stuff like the light bill. here at University Park. It doesn't pay professors' salaries. I would say maybe less than 5% of your tuition goes to the salary of professors. So your tuition pays for like the light bill, custodial equipment, keeping the building up to date and up to fire code, things like that. You give us more positive feedback. It's all negative. I say that's half true. And the reason I say that's half true is it goes back to the grading too hard comment. My job, once again, isn't to tell you, as a college student, that everything you do is A+ quality work when it's not. My job is to constructively criticize you so that you can be better prepared for the next time that you do it. So even in my face-to-face class, when they do their speeches, they say, Mr. Sean, some of the stuff on your critique sheet is all negative. And my response is, because that's where you need to improve. It does me no good to let you know, oh, everything in this paper is right, and give you all positive comments. My job is to give you constructive criticism so that you improve for the next time you have to do this assignment. As I said before, my job is to prepare you for your academic career at the four-year institution or your career in whatever job or industry that you choose. And that's not how the real world works. The real world does not just look at you and say everything that you do is a 100 or everything that you do is A+ quality. That's mom and dad's job. That's what they do. But that's not what the real world does. So a couple of things from me to you. I like to pass this along to help you navigate through life. A couple of tips for you as a student. Never email an assignment to a professor unless the professor has specifically asked for you to email it to them. If you forget an assignment or you forgot to turn something in, the proper thing to do is email the professor, let them know, and then at the end of the email, or if you go to their office, say, what would you like me to do, or what are my options? And you should always go back to look at the syllabus to see what the policy is when it comes to missing an assignment. If you do miss an assignment, let's say you miss a paper, you forgot to turn in a written assignment. One of the best things you could do is print out that assignment and take it, hand deliver it to the professor or the TA. That assures that they get it right then and there, and I can assure you professors will be impressed that you took the time to do that. Something small, just staple your papers before you submit them. Remember, there's not a stapler guaranteed in every classroom at the college level. There will be paper stations in your library that have the printers, staplers. Sometimes they'll have paper clips, something along those lines, so be aware of that. We didn't have the problem in this class very much, but some of my students, when they turn in written assignments in their Dropbox, they either write in red ink or they write in blue ink, and I'm not sure why. No one's really given me a good reason. I think you are thinking I'm trying to differentiate between your question and my answer, but trust me, we already know what you're doing. So always write in black ink unless the professor specifically says write in a different color ink on that assignment. Always follow instructions specifically for that professor. I'll give you an example. I'm an APA format professor, and you guys were telling me that some of your other professors required you to write an MLA, and that's just the nature of a college student. It happened to me as well. I had one semester in college where one professor was APA, one professor was MLA, and another professor was Chicago style. So I had to learn all three styles, or the basics of all three styles for every professor, and that's just how it is. That's just life. So you just kind of have to adjust to what they want. But always, if you have a question, the first thing you should do, always check the syllabus. 95% of the time, let's say 95% of the time, the question that you have is found in the syllabus. You didn't need to email your professor. You didn't need to email your TA. Always check the syllabus first. If it's not in the syllabus, or if it's too vague in the syllabus, then you go back and you ask your professor or your TA. You can say something along the line, send them an email, say, I checked the syllabus and it says XYZ, so I'm following the instructions from there. Or I checked the course syllabus and my question isn't answered there. So that lets the professor know, you as a student did your due diligence first. You checked the syllabus first. It's not there, so now you're asking the professor or the TA. A couple of things I want you to be aware of, what I understand, that college is a trial run for being an adult. The margins are thin. There's really no room for error. And it's always interesting when students say, I don't know how to do this, or you didn't explain this very well. And then my response is, well, 95% of the class did it correctly, but you did not. So is it my instructions that didn't explain it very well, or did you not understand it very well? Remember, There's always going to be someone else out there who can do it and do it better than you can. So you want to figure out, how can I make this work? Is there something that I'm personally not understanding? Also, in college, you have to learn about finances. You have to learn about being aware of hard deadlines. And there are consequences for not meeting hard deadlines. In the real world, if you don't meet your deadline, you could get fired. Same thing here. If you don't meet your deadline, it's a zero. Finances, in terms of, you get that big student paycheck for financial aid. Yes, it's there to help you as a student, but remember, you got to pay for access codes and textbooks and parking permits and things of that nature. But if you also have bills coming up, now we got to make some tough decisions. So being aware of that. I'm also a big proponent that there's a mental health issue. Let me rephrase that. Mental health is a big factor when it comes to the success of some students. And I don't think we do enough here at Lone Star and across the country when it comes to colleges and universities to help with this. Some of you out there are depressed, some of you have anxiety, and reading some of your reflection papers, you have family issues, life issues, and all of that is a factor in the success of your work at the college level. Some of you may not know what you're going to eat today. You may not have a place to live. We found multiple students living out of their cars here at University Park, here on at many Lone Star College campuses. Some students walking around the campus today have no idea what they're going to eat for dinner, and it's not a matter of picking between Chili's and Applebee's. It's a matter of it's a matter of they don't have the cash to go out and buy food, so they might not eat today. And all of that is a factor in success in the college classroom. So this is stuff that we have to learn to deal with if this applies to you. But the main point I'm trying to make here is you gotta swallow your pride and ask for help. There are many, many, many resources that we have here at Lone Star. Your four-year college, they will have many resources to help you. People are here to help you. The problem is, we can't help you if you don't say something. And I think a lot of students are just too prideful, or they're too embarrassed to say stuff. And that's something that you got to get over so that we can help you. If we help you and find you the help that you need, I guarantee you it's going to impact your success in your college classes. So finally, a few thoughts for you. Being aware of time management. Some of you work 30, 40, 50, 60 hours a week, and then you're taking 5 classes. That's not smart. That's not doable in a lot of instances. I had a student, I don't know if it was this semester or last semester, she's taking 5 classes, working 40 hours a week, and she has 2 kids. I don't know who put this in your mind that you have to take 5 classes while working 40 hours and taking care of your 2 children. That's just not feasible. I mean, time management in and of itself will tell you that's not feasible. So being aware of time management, what to do, when to do it, and when to know when you have too much on your plate. I'm okay with people failing. Failure is okay to me. I have no issue with failing. Where I want you to come out of it is, what did you learn from it? Did you learn that you need to get better at time management? Did you learn that you're not as good at organizational skills as you thought you were? So what did you learn from failure? Always be professional, and if you know me, I'm very professional. That means when you write an email to your professors, you're starting out with Dear Professor Stewart, you're ending with Sincerely Mary, Sincerely John, something along those lines. Always be responsible for yourself and your own work. Don't leave it up to chance to anyone else. Practice self-determination, which is essentially inherent motivation, meaning we're free to make our own choices because we know what the consequences are. So if you know that you would rather go party with your friends in Galveston instead of writing your reflection paper, and you know you're going to miss the deadline for the reflection paper, well, practice self-determination. That basically states you're going to accept the consequence of not writing the reflection paper, which is a 0 on the assignment. But you're 100% conscious of that. You want to go party with your friends, so you're going to take the 0. This happened when I was in school. I wanted to go to Port Aransas with my friends, and I was going to miss a major exam. And I told myself, I really want to go hang out with my friends. I'll just take the 0 on the exam. And I was fine with that because I knew what my grade was in the class, and I knew I could take a hit on this exam because I'm going to make it up on the major assignment that we have coming up at the end of the semester. And sure enough, I made an A on that major assignment and kept my A in the class. So if you're going on vacation, if you need to do personal stuff, but you know you have assignments coming up, Self-determination states, I know that I'm going to miss this, but I'm fully aware of what the consequences are. Basically, you know you can't get special treatment because of the decision that you made. And then finally, just knowing when to be mature. We're all adults here. Being an adult's hard. It's difficult. I wish I could go back to the days where I lived with my parents and they would just do everything for you. I say always strive to be better. Don't let Lone Star be your ceiling. I can show you research after research that shows the higher degree you get, the more money you make in the long run. So some of you, if you think Lone Star is just it for you, I strive, or I urge you, that's a better word, urge you to think about going to get a higher degree if you could. Something that Michelle Obama said about a year or two ago that I've loved is focus on what you can control. Too often we get stressed out about things we have no control over. You all have no control over the grading that I do, but you do have control over, did you do the assignment correctly as per the assignment instructions? Did you turn in the assignment on time? Did you write in the proper format? Did you proofread your work? You have control over that, so you can focus on that and then don't worry about the grading process because that's out of your control. And this could be applicable to your relationships as well. There's stuff that you have no control over, and too often we get stressed out or anxiety or depressed about stuff that we have no earthly control over. And when you start to realize, why am I stressing out over something I have no control over? Trust me, it's like a weight and a burden lifted off your shoulder. When I heard this, it made so much sense, and it made life just a tad bit easier because there were certain things that your professor was struggling over because I was focusing on stuff that I personally had no control over. And then, as always, I'm here for you. If you need to chat, if you need life advice, school advice, you need to talk about work, about which college you want to transfer to, you're always welcome to do that. You can email me. You can stop by my office here at University Park. I have a student from 3 years ago who stops by once a month, and he and I just talk about football. That's all we talk about. So if you just want to chit-chat, come on by, send me an email, and we can do that. Other than that, it has been a pleasure teaching you all this very, very quick 8-week semester. I wish you the best of luck, and as always, I am here for you.